the Regional President for the Ahmadiyya Association, Dr. Rashid. Thank you. To go. Hopefully the other guests will arrive soon, and then we'll start sharply at 7 o'clock. Thank you. Okay, good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. So today, because of the live feed going out, I would humbly request everyone to please keep to the time that I've requested. And now I hand the session over to the Chairman of Charity Walk for Peace, Mr. Zahir Ahmed. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We start our programs with the recitation of Holy Quran, and I request Mr. Turban Efram to come and recite a portion of Holy Quran. Sorry. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسألونك ماذا ينفقون قل ما أنفقتم من خير فالوالدين والأقربين واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل وما تفعل من خير فإن الله وما تفعلوا من خير فإن الله به عليم. Sorry. Thank you. Translation by Dr. Irfan Ahmed Malik.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you. English translation, chapter 2, verse 216. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. They ask thee what they shall spend. Say, whatever of good and abundant wealth you spend should be for parents and near relatives and orphans and the needy and the wayfarer. And whatever good you do, surely Allah knows it perfectly well.
Thank you. May I request our regional chairman, Charity Work for Peace, Mr. Khalid Ahmed, to come and welcome the guests, please.
Honorable Dr. Satya Sharma, Deputy Lieutenant, NMB West Midlands Lieutenancy. Honorable Mark Kolongi, Lord Mayor of Walsall. Mr. Steve McCabe, Member of the Parliament. Honorable representative of our wonderful charities and schools. Assalamu alaikum. May the blessing, peace and blessing of God Almighty be upon you all. On behalf of Charity Walk for Peace, I would like to welcome you all here at Darul Barkat Mosque. That means a place for peace and blessing. To this year's Midlands launch, thank you so much for sacrificing your precious time to be with us here today. In the process of organizing this event, a lot of you have given us exceptional support, which encourages us to do even more in the coming years. It will be very important to mention that this whole event is arranged and conducted by volunteers only. I hope that this gathering today will serve as a landmark in helping towards building of a better society. Counselors and other charities who have been spreading the Charity Walk for Peace messages through forwarding tweets and other means, thank you so much. Special thanks to the Mayor of Runnymede, where the National Walk is being held this year. Please enjoy the evening and the dinner, which is not too far away. Thank you. Just to housekeeping, we are not expecting any fire drill, so in case the fire alarm goes off, you will walk through the fire exits. They are on your left and on your right. And the ladies' toilet, they are on the left, and then you have to turn in the left, and the gents' toilet, you have to go on the right passage, and then they are on the outside. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Khalid. May I request our Vice Chairman, Charity Walk for Peace, to come and introduce you, Charity Walk for Peace, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. We have some technical issues. I can't see the screen from here. So we're just going to turn the lights off. Just stay with me. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got a couple of jobs today. One is to present to you the work we do for charity. A number of you here today, a number of our wonderful guests, they already know a lot, so please bear with me. And the second thing I have to do is to make sure that we go through the agenda in the time allocated to us. So please bear with me when I ask you to please try and keep the addresses short. The positive thing about this today is that one is a live feed on YouTube. Secondly, you'll see from the presentation of the number of countries that we work in. So this is going out to potentially millions of people. And the social media team, which are here today, who are here today as well, cover the event in various different ways using social media. So your 1 minute or 2 minutes today will actually be broadcast to potentially millions. So without taking too much time myself, I'm going to go through this presentation. So Charity Walk for Peace. The community itself is known as the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, and we're established in 200, I think that says 204, but 210 countries of the world. And that in no way is an arrogant statement. What it means I believe, is that the work that we do here in the Midlands, we're actually able to copy the same work for humanity in almost all those 210 countries. So you participating here today sends a wonderful signal to all our viewers, to the various charities that we work with, that how much work we can do for the local community. So the branch within the 210 countries of the UK is called AMA UK, and just below that you can see a number of subsections. They're just Arabic words, one for the ladies group, one for the young men's group, and I belong to the last group in the men's, the over 40s, and we're called Ansar, or otherwise Ahmadiyya Muslim Elders Association. Now deliberately right down the bottom there you can see, and excuse me because I know it's a bit far for the people at the back, but there's a little logo there that says Charity Walk for Peace. It's deliberately put there, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what it is. It's a very small element, although we raise such a large amount of money, but it's such a small element of the bigger picture, which all stands for love for all, hatred for none. I know the incidents of last year and how terrible they were. I wonder that the work that we do together with yourselves, the charities, the voluntary organizations, and the work that we do is in some way telling those nasty people that that's not what we do. Muslims don't do that. Muslims need to work for humanity. And I know there's some emotional people here today who've worked with us and know for sure that we want to work for the best for mankind. So our mission is to help society to support charitable endeavours, to work to secure the common good, but perhaps more importantly, to demonstrate loyalty to country and nation. In a few minutes, you'll hear words from the British Legion and other charities. That's how we want to do good that's how we want to be loyal to our country. We want to be there in whichever capacity and help our country. And each country that we represent, they will be saying the same thing. There's a graph on the screen. In the early days, we didn't do too well. Recently, the figures have shot up. That's because our spiritual leader, who's based here in the UK, has guided us. And he has said that we are not sharing the good work we do with other organisations. So today we are. And we've raised £685,000 last year. Every single penny goes to charity. It always has and it always will. So we have a number of volunteers. Some of us are sitting here amongst yourselves. You are yourselves volunteers, majority of you. And that's how this large workforce, we have over 5,000 members who in some way or form contribute towards raising the funds. For example, last year 685, this year our focus is £1 million. We'll talk about where do we get the money then to have dinners like this and the pop-ups, and I know these are insignificant costs, perhaps on a small scale, but we're doing this all over the country, so we'll speak about where the money comes from for the events in a few minutes. So those 5,000 members can do wonders. Last year we were able to collect £250,000 for the British Legion. I thought that was fantastic. And this year our target is £500,000, and I know the wonderful people from the British Legion are here today, and I hope they support us in the sense that we're ready. We've got the manpower, we want to work with you, and we want to collect the money, and we want to give all the money back to yourselves. So who's welcome? Last year we had, up to last year we had about 250 charities that we supported. But last year alone, we were able to support 114 charities plus. Already, I think, on our applications for funding, which I will request you later to also partake of, we've got over 120, 130 charities already registered to be beneficiaries of the funds. The mayors, the Lord Lieutenants, the MPs, are playing such a beautiful role, such an instrumental role. If I say something to somebody, it might go a certain way, but when MPs and people looking after our requirements as community, then those words go a long, long way. So I thank them. This year's walk, this year's national walk, is a bit far from here, but it's in Runnymede, which is near Windsor. So we're going to start off at Savile Court Hotel, and we're going to work our way towards one of the most beautiful parks in the country, 3 weeks before the royal wedding, and that's Windsor Great Park. So I hope that you can join us. If not, I'm sure that the regional president will look perhaps at holding a local, a regional walk here in the Midlands. On your tables are some brochures, and in that brochure is something all about the walk. I hope you can take that away with you, and perhaps you can get more information. There's also a leaflet that's being distributed all around the country. So I mentioned the 5,000 volunteers, and really we're ready for that. That's 5,000 a day. It's not 5,000 a year. So we're willing to work for the better of mankind, for charitable causes all year round. And I think the chairman, Mr. Zahir Ahmed, will focus on that a little bit more in a few minutes. So the application, I know some of the charities were involved last year, so thank you very much. It gives us great encouragement for you to be involved with us. But the application process is very simple. You go online, you decide whether you want to go for grant funding or matched funding. So there's a little bit different criteria for match funding and grant funding. But I tell you, if you were to be able to work with us in some way or form, and you were to raise £2,000, we would give you another £2,000 from our own donations. So that's £4,000, and that's one way of getting involved. And so the process, you do the application, bit of a due diligence process, and then the approval, and then basically we ask you to promote us on your websites, as you'll see some of the examples on the screen in a few minutes. Last year at the House of Lords, like we do every year in different places, we chose the House of Lords to pass on the funds that we had collected, 685,000, to various beneficiaries, and they attended this event in sometime, I think it was in November or December. Just on the bottom left-hand side, you can see the Mayor of Runnymede. He has played an instrumental role, truly instrumental role, in gaining us access to Savile Court, gaining us access to the Windsor Great Park, speaking to the Rangers, doing a lot of funding, helping us with funding, transport, buses, picking up people from stations and bringing them in to the event and taking them back. So they've done a wonderful job. This is a very honourable gentleman. His name is Paul Terrell. He's the Chief Executive of Runnymede Borough Council. Again, playing an instrumental role in making sure that the event for 5,000–6,000 people goes well, and that we're able to raise that £1 million. Some wonderful people in the audience. You won't recognise these people, but they're councillors. The front four ladies are councillors at Runnymede. And what they did is what Runnymede is doing today. They didn't know us 2 years ago, but they took a challenge and they organised a local walk in East Hampshire District Council. We have a 250-acre site there. We hold an event every year. It's massive, and it's for our community. And they're members of that local council, and they helped us to arrange a walk. This year, they're doing another walk, which I'll come to in a few minutes. So some familiar faces. Now, why do we hold it at the House of Lords? That's an expensive place. The reason we hold it there is because the MPs, like I said, and the mayors and various other dignitaries, they can come round the corner from the Prime Minister's questions on a Wednesday, and they can then understand what we do and promote that. And that money, you know how it all works, the circle, they promote, we get the money, and we give it back to charities. So just a few funds. being distributed? So I'm just going to try and speed up. Now, there's something important today. We will request you, and this is only a request, that please, the media team is here. If you could... sorry. Okay. I'll finish so we'll ask you for some interviews, and because that helps us to promote the work we do. So various events happening around the country. I know the Lord Mayor has to leave in a few minutes, so I'm going to speed up, and maybe we can cover things later on in the question and answer session. So events happening all over the country, this is one of them, and this is what's happening on websites. So various websites, a lot of the Samaritans, for example, this is Noah's Ark, all promoting the charity Walk for Peace. And I think I'll finish there. Just please remember that it is your support that gives us the motivation to continue to help the most deserving in our society. Thank you very much. Thank you. If I can now request the Councillor Marco Longhi, the Lord Mayor of Walsall, to please come and say a few words. Thank you. Deputy Lieutenant, Mr. Chairman, Councillors, distinguished guests, Assalamu alaikum and good evening all. You do me a great honour by inviting me this evening. I have to apologise in advance as I am committed, I've been committed for a long time to an event starting back in Walsall at 8 o'clock, and I have the M6 to negotiate before I get there, so perhaps you can wish me luck in that. When you reach this stage of the mayoralty, as I have done now, I am now entering soon my 11th month out of 12, you automatically start thinking about the sort of legacy that you think you might be leaving from your mayoralty and the kind of enduring memories that you would like to take with you. And I know that the Lady Mayoress, who can't be here tonight, would share these thoughts as well. I had the good fortune of meeting one of your elder Muslim members, Toby. Where are you? I don't see you. Where are you? He's hiding somewhere. And I am really grateful to him, really, for being here today. So one of these enduring memories, actually, is the fact that we do have a very diverse population in Walsall, quite a large Muslim community, and I never thought and I never knew just how generous the Muslim community is there. I'd heard words, and like everybody else, I also heard a lot of other things. So one of the real privileges for me has to actually been to be able to learn about the various Muslim communities within Walsall and also about their generosity. My target for the mayoral charity for the year in Walsall has been a moving target. And the reason for that is that nearly 2 years ago, the Mayoress and I chose a really small charity doing some fantastic work in Walsall for Walsall people, which is all about mental health. It's about any person, any age, any background. They actually signpost some counsellors to some of the schools, and one of the things that I knew as a counsellor and as I observed, and as a parent as well to teenagers, mental health services for young people in particular are absolutely deficient in terms of meeting the very real need that is out there. And that is why I chose the charity that I did. It's a really small charity, I'm sure none of you will have heard about it, called WPH in Walsall. So thank you very much for considering my charity as being one of your charities. You do me a great honour by inviting me here, and I do hope
that you enjoy the rest of the evening tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Marco Longi, Lord Mayor of Walsall. Thank you for those wonderful words. Our next speaker is our very respected Deputy Lord Lieutenant, Dr. Satya Sharma, who is the Queen's representative for Midlands. He is a patron of the Interfaith Wolverhampton and for Midland Confederation of Indians. He has a huge profile, as you can imagine, so I'm just going to read a few things. He has established an organ donation group in West Midlands and is keen to promote organ donation in all sections of society. He was awarded the MBE for services to Wolverhampton and healthcare in 2010. Dr. Satya was awarded Global Indian Excellence Award by World Consulting and Research Corporation in 2014. Recent projects include helping earthquake victims in Nepal, working in Kenya to provide water to help over 1,000 families, and climbing Ben Nevis to raise funds for wells in Pakistan. In 2018, he was appointed President of the Red Cross in the West Midlands. May I humbly request the Deputy Lord Lieutenant, Dr. Satya Sharma, to please come and say a few words.
Good evening. The Lord Mayor had to rush, but my next appointment is at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I've got plenty of time. And at 8:55 I'll have to leave tomorrow. But you don't have to worry, because I'm not going to speak for that long. Any program that starts with prayers is a noble, humble program. I'm delighted and honored to be amongst you tonight. When I came with an expectation that there might be 10 people, maybe I'll be the 11th. But to see so many of you from so many different walks of society is absolutely charming. And I'm going to share some of my thoughts. You heard from my background that I have been involved with charities in various ways. I've been well blessed, and so are you. With that background, it probably won't come to you as a surprise, but these things that I want to share are these. First of all, we all know that no charity is a bad charity. If it's charity, it cannot be bad. But then if you come to think about what charity should be good charity and what's the best charity, there isn't a single answer that anyone can give. What you can say with some confidence is this, that if you feed a person for that day, you did a good turn to him or her. If you give some shoes to a person who didn't have those, you did a good turn for as long as the shoes will last. Similarly, if you give a blanket to a person who is shivering in cold, maybe that winter or following winter will be okay for that person. But let's have a little thought further than that. If you can give skills to a person so that he, she can feed his or her stomach and also provide benefit to the family for a number of years, for a very, very long time, that's something that we need to think through. Perhaps that comes as top of the list of some of us. It's also worth thinking that if you give skills to a man, you have equipped that person, and well worth doing. But if you have given skills to a lady, you've not only skilled her, but you skilled her family as well. I want to share a story with you. There were lots of people, young people who were walking along the shore, and a wave came from sea and brought thousands of fish. The fish was left there and the wave receded quickly, quicker than fish could move. So there were thousands of fish who were dying without water. And these 5 people were walking along, and all of them said, well, thousands of fish, how can we really help? But one of them stopped. He lifted a fish and threw it in the pond or the water and said, okay, that one. He walked along, picked up another fish, and threw it. Another fish and threw it, and that kept on. We need to think it through. I know that, and I'm sure you agree with me, that there are billions of people who probably could do with some help in some way, even if their stomachs are not hungry. They are hungry for some other thing which they could do with your help. But if you lift a fish and throw it in water, at least that fish survives. You've done some good turn. Mother Teresa said, the mouth that says the words is okay, but the hands that serve are much, much better than the mouth saying words. So our actions speak for themselves. You are well blessed because you're connected with charities in some way or other. I'm amazed, truly amazed, that 1 million people were raised last year by Ahmadiyya. Isn't that a wonderful thing? And I'm told that it has been something like 4.5 million in last 5 years. What a wonderful achievement. It really is superb and splendid. When I went to Nepal after earthquake, there were lots of people who were leaving Kathmandu because they knew that another earthquake was on the horizon. We got there in 36 hours and my daughter thought I was mad. Probably she was right, because in those 36 hours there were still tremors going on and people were leaving Kathmandu and we were getting there. We saw catastrophe, we saw disaster. But should we be worried about the disaster, or should we be positive in saying, come on, this is our chance to do something? I was reminded of a word saying our efforts may be a drop in the ocean, but for the person who receives, that drop was their ocean. When we went to Kenya, I learned another thing, which I'd like to share with you. There was an elderly person who came to me running and said, well, you come with some money and I hear that you're going to do this, that or other. We had got a short list of the things that we wanted to do. What happens when you're gone? What will happen to the charity minus you? I want to share that concept of charity minus you with you. What he meant, because I teased it out of him, what he meant was this, that okay, you'll give the money, but what happens to the money afterwards? Because if you're gone, it's possible it might go in wrong hands. It's possible nothing may happen. It's possible that the efforts that you put in for bringing that money has gone totally waste. So what he was trying to indicate was that when you've gone, you need to put the processes in place so that even without you, that money is put to good use. And the project that we decided to do was quite simple. It was sand dams, and 4 of those were to be built. And our plan was to build those 4 sand dams in 3 months. It was possible, but things happened. And 12 months on, we have only built 2, but we are determined that the other 2 will be completed. I'm sure you have got excellent ideas. I've got absolutely no doubt that the wonderful work that you are doing will have benefits for lots of people. I hope that your wishes are fulfilled sooner rather than later, and I hope that these seeds of that good effort that you are sowing will not only be good for those people who receive the fruits when these become trees, but will be inspiring for others, and you will spread the fragrance. Thank you so much. You're doing a wonderful job. Please carry on. And if we can be any help to you as Lieutenancy, we'll be delighted to help. Because one of the functions of Lieutenancy, and I'm not sure how many of you know, Her Majesty the Queen has got offices in each county. It's called Lieutenancy, headed by Lord Lieutenant, who can't be here tonight, and that's why you have to put it with me. But one of the functions of Lieutenancy, in addition to arranging the royal visits and arranging Queen's Award for Voluntary Service, is to have community cohesion. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much for listening. But the great job you are doing is really inspiring to me as well, and keep on spreading the fragrance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is from Adoption Focus. Anna Sharkey, the Chief Executive, is going to say a few words. If I can request Anna to please come and address us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us to this event this evening. And I'm not very good at saying only a few words, so I will have to try and keep myself as brief as possible. So I'm Anna Sharkey, I'm the Chief Executive Officer at Adoption Focus, and I've come here with my colleague Jolie, who's sat on the table over there. We are a charity, we have, like every other charity, a mission statement, which is that we aim to provide permanent and positive family life experience for children in need of adoptive homes through the careful preparation and continuing support of adoptive parents. So we're an adoption agency and we're a charity. We became operational on the 1st of June 2009, and our main office is based in Marston Green, which is in Birmingham. We also have 2 further offices in Staffordshire and Oxfordshire. There's a legal framework to adoption. It's a legal process and it's a strictly regulated activity. Surprisingly to many who are not part of the education system, adoption is also regulated by Ofsted. They've judged us to be outstanding on the 3 occasions they have inspected us, and that's been in 2010, 2013, and very recently in February of this year. So this is what we do. We support people to become adopters through providing them with the information they need about adoption, about the process, and about the types of children who need new families. We provide training and preparation to enhance their skills so they can achieve successful adoptive family life. We put them through a careful assessment which aims to ensure that children will be safe and secure in their new family, and we help them to find the child or children they will parent and make that placement happen. And then we continue to support them and their children for as long as we are needed. And we place children in new families because they have had a difficult start in life. That means that some of them have experienced parental drug misuse or alcoholism. Some have experienced neglect and abuse. Some children are born with disabilities which their birth parents feel unable to manage. Many of our children have sadly witnessed domestic violence and know fear and pain. All of them have had the trauma of losing their birth families who, despite efforts to assist them, cannot provide the care that their children need. And we specialise in helping adopters become parents to harder to place children. And a harder to place children is a child who is over the age of 2. It becomes more difficult to find a placement. Brothers and sisters who need to stay together, dual heritage children and black children, and children who have a disability. We believe that every child should grow up in a family which loves them, protects them from harm, and will be there for them throughout their life. And since becoming operational, we've placed over 300 children in new families. What charitable fundraising does for us is to help us continue to support our adopters into the years ahead. That's when the difficult early life experiences that their children have some further impact on their adopters. And we currently support more than 50 adoptive families through support groups, workshops, play and stay and therapy, and are in contact with many more through newsletters and social events. Money donated to us buys toys and craft materials, books and activities, outings and events which support adoptive family life. We help adopters give our most hurt and vulnerable children their childhood back. Their adopters make all the difference to their lives, and we continue to support them in any way we can. Your support helps us to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anna. Our next speaker is from Derby Women's Centre, and Kelly Carson is going to say a few words. Kelly is a volunteer at Derby Women's Centre. She has been involved in fundraising. She has been helping raise funds and awareness at the centre. She took part in the Charity Walk for Peace last year and has attended our events. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting us. My name is Annette, and I am also a volunteer at the Derby Women's Centre with my good friend Kelly. We met just over a year ago at the Women's Centre. The Women's Centre is a centre that is a local charity to provide an essential and life-saving service for women affected by domestic violence. 2 women every week die at the hands of a violent partner, a male partner. The Derby Women's Centre was formed in 1978 by a group of women just gathering together in their own front rooms to talk about the issues that women faced. 40 years later, the centre is threatened by closure. This has been discovered just over a year ago, and Kelly and myself and some of the other women decided that we didn't want this to happen, and we were going to fight the closure. With the help of lots of other organisations and our efforts to raise money for the centre, we've enabled the centre to remain open from that time a year ago until now. We were fortunate enough to be invited on the Peace Walk last year, and I found that an amazing experience because even on the coach on the way down we made good friends. I found it such a positive experience, surrounded by people all doing good things. Thoroughly recommend it to you, even if it is 6 miles. The Derby Women's Centre offers women the opportunity to break free from their abuser and to start a recovery programme with help from different courses to do, counselling, debt advice and help finding a new home. It changes women's lives completely. I'd like to thank you for the help that you gave us last year to keep the centre open, and hope that this year again we can join you all on what was a very enjoyable walk. Thank you. Thank you very much.
This is the dreaded 30-second reminder. Our next speaker is from Employability UK, Mr. Keith Fraser. Keith is the chair of the Board of Trustees for Employability. He's a retired police superintendent with 32 years service. May I request Keith to please come and say a few words.
Thank you very much, Deputy Lieutenant and other guests. Thank you. I'm not used to having such tight timescales placed on me in relation to speaking, but I will stick to my promise to do that. One of the things I'd like to say is what Employability UK is about. I'd like you to remember this hashtag, which is hashtag 100% employable. It's about not giving up on any young people. We help to bridge the skills gap between education and employment. We work with schools, businesses and young people to do that. The schools do a very fine job in relation to educating young people, in relation to making sure that they've got the academic skills. What we will do is work with schools and work with businesses across the region and wider to ensure that the skills that we know that young people need in relation to attitude, aptitude, communication skills, just demystifying work, they have those and they are ready for it. So we don't give up on any young people, and we'd love your support. And thank you very much, everybody, today. Thank you.
He did really well. Our next speaker is Councillor Sue Gallagher from Northley House School. She's a councillor for Warwick District Council and a very dear and old friend, old in the sense of a very nice friend, of the community for a very long time. So please, can I request her to please come and say a few words?
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much again for inviting me here again. I represent a very small charity, Northley House School, which is just outside Warwick. This is a school that was started by a friend of mine, Viv Morgan, who gave her house over to start a school when she had heard about a child in Solihull had been lying down in the middle of the road waiting to be run over by a car. All these children have been severely bullied, and 90% of them have tried to commit suicide. Our aim is to get them back into mainstream education, and we now have 3 children that are studying at university. When they came to us, they could hardly speak. We are a very small charity, but it does cost us £12,000 a week to run this school. We have 19 children at the moment, which is our maximum, but we have an enormous waiting list. We have been given a donation by the Ahmadiyya Muslims, who have looked after us extremely well, and we are very, very grateful to them. They are most generous. I can't say enough thank yous for the Ahmadiyyas. But Northley School is a brilliant, very small charity, and the lady who runs it, who couldn't be here tonight, Viv Morgan, won the Pride of Britain Award in 2016 for starting this school. And I would invite anybody who lives in the area around Warwick and Leamington to come and visit it sometime to see the change that we make in these children's lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is from Langar Aid. Langar means kitchen. Khalsa, also known as Khalsa Aid. It's a very, very busy person who's going to come and say a few words. Councillor Marcus Lapsa. He's a shadow cabinet member for Health and Sport, part-time lecturer at the City College of Coventry, director CVS, library assistant, and elected councillor for Coventry. Please, can I ask Marcus to say a few words? Thank you.
Thank you. Alaikum salam. Distinguished guests and guests, love for all, hatred for none. Recognise the human race as one. That's the start of a good poem, isn't it? But Langar Aid is an initiative by Khalsa Aid, which is an international organisation. Some of you might have heard of it. The CEO is Ravi Singh. And we first met sort of in Coventry with the Muslim community when we run an event where we fed 2,000 people in Broadgate, and we invited all different faith groups to come and share the food with us. Now, Langar Aid was started by the gentleman in the blue turban, Inderjit Singh, because he sent me up here, so I've got to point him out. He started it in his kitchen at home, and we were about feeding the homeless, the isolated and the vulnerable. And we've grown significantly. I've been involved coming up to about 3 years. We used to feed on the street in Coventry, where we'd set up a kitchen, we got a deep fat fryer, so we were serving hot food. And the ethos of Langar Aid is where Langar means kitchen, it's the communal kitchen. It's where they're taking it out of the gurdwaras. You can go to any gurdwara in the world and have a meal. What we are trying to do is give that quality of food on the street to the homeless, the isolated and vulnerable. And it is a fantastic honour. I've been here about 3 or 4 times now, and it's an absolute fantastic honour to come here and work with all different groups. But what we are about is we are growing, and we've set up a team in Slough and in Windsor. I've already signed up for the Walk for Peace, so if anybody wants to sponsor me before I leave, I'll take the cash because I have to deposit on the day for the match funding. But the beauty of what everybody does, every charity does, and especially within the Muslim community, and a lot of people don't understand what the Muslim community do. And Langar Aid is about bringing all communities together. And what better way, as we will experience, because Inderjit and I have gone in and inspected the kitchens, and the food is fantastic. What better way, and you're going to experience it, is to sit down with someone and break bread, have some food, and break all the barriers down. And what Langar Aid are about when we're on the street is not just feeding the belly. It's about reaching out that hand of friendship, that smile, and giving the hand up, not the hand out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Councillor David Mellon representing Bakersfield and Neighbourhood Community Association. Please may I ask David to come and say a few words.
Deputy Commissioner, Mr Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here this evening. Bakersfield Community Association is a small charity about a mile from the city centre of the city of Nottingham, and we run a community centre where we try very hard to welcome people and to provide rooms of variety of sizes at very affordable rent to people who live in a deprived community. Our priority is to make sure our centre is welcoming and warm and clean and available to everybody, irrespective of their faith or their background. And so people come together over 40 groups. We have resident nursery, we have a branch of the Italian consulate. Until recently we had the meeting of the Nottingham Ahmadiyya group, who until they've moved to their own mosque fairly recently. Young and old, people dance, learn, slim, do martial arts, and we are grateful for the opportunity to be considered for your charitable giving this year. Thank you.
Please excuse me for rushing everybody, but dinner's ready. Our next speaker is Wakar Ahmadi. He's from Kings Norton Girls' School and Head of Religious Studies there. Wakar.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon you, respected chair, distinguished guests. I am here representing Kings Norton Girls' School, where I am Head of Religious Studies and have been so for 8 years. It's a privilege and an honour to be here with you today. Just to give you a brief background about the school was established in 1910 in the Northfield area of Birmingham. It used to be a girls' grammar school for some time before becoming a comprehensive secondary school and sixth form centre, and more recently became an academy. Like all schools in the country, as I'm sure everyone is aware, schools have been affected by significant cuts in funding at a time when an increasingly number of children and families face extremely challenging circumstances and financial hardship. Many of you will also be aware that there are specific categories of disadvantaged students who are entitled to financial help which goes towards providing them with additional support whilst they're in school. These include those that are known as pupil premium students. These are those who are in receipt of free school meals, who are being looked after by people other than their parents, or whose parents have served in the armed forces, or have been struggling with reading and maths specifically. We are seeing an increasing number of children falling into this particular category. In my school alone, around a third of all pupils are designated as pupil premium children. And the limited funding available does have a knock-on effect on how many children are able to be supported adequately whilst they're in school. This extends also to our sixth form students who would need to apply for bursaries to support them in their studies. Due to limited funding from the government, schools often do struggle to meet everyday costs relating to books, travel expenses, and school trips for disadvantaged children, sometimes meaning that those students unfortunately miss out on those important educational resources, expenses, and opportunities for learning outside the classroom. The grant that we've applied for would be making a huge difference to our school in ensuring that those disadvantaged children can be helped to be given the best possible educational experience, to achieve the best that they can, and be supported in their aspirations and ambitions. But once again, on behalf of Kings Norton Girls' School, thank you very much for the kind invitation, and all the best with a fantastic initiative. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Wakar. Our next speaker is Mr. David Harris, Fundraising Officer at the Derbyshire Children's Holiday Centre. And the amazing thing about this charity was that it was formed in 1891. So David, please, if you can come and say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed for inviting Anne and I to come this evening from Derbyshire. One or two people from Derbyshire doing wonderful things and hopefully you'll think we're doing the same. Yes, 1891, it's probably the oldest registered charity in this part of the country. We've also been awarded the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service that the Deputy Lieutenant mentioned earlier, and this was a great boost to our charity because it gave us kudos and people knew that what we were doing was really very worthwhile, that we were serving the community, that we were using our volunteers properly, and that we were giving a wonderful time to 600 very, very deserving children each year. We provide holidays at Skegness for local children from the county of Derbyshire. We give them a most wonderful time in our lovely centre at Skegness, and nothing is too much trouble. And this experience that they have with us, all these children, and some come at Christmas for children who don't get a Christmas, and think that you don't get a holiday at all in this day and age. When I was a boy in my village, there were people there who'd never seen the sea. But even today we have children who have not seen the sea without us giving them the opportunity and having the chance to kick the water and play in the sand. So we give them a most wonderful experience. It's lovely to be with you here and to be able to, for the first time for Anne and I, we've not been here before, and it's wonderful to see the wonderful things, to hear the wonderful things that are being done. And I think that our charity fits this role. We're serving other people, we're serving the community, we're looking after the children. And what a poor society it is if we cannot look after our young people. Thank you all very, very much indeed. Enjoy your meals.
With the hot food there, I don't think I'll need to use this 30-second thing. Okay, so next is a short presentation by Phil Prosser. He's the fundraising manager at the British Legion. A wonderful friend of the community and was in the Royal Air Force for 28 years and more and left with a serious injury. The Royal British Legion looked after him, arranged for support and items around the home to make his life more comfortable. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm conscious that the food's here, so I'll try and keep it brief. So, the importance of remembrance and why the British Legion exists. I'm here to talk about the charity. The Legion exists to look after veterans and their families, so the people who sacrifice so much for us. Okay? We provide support for them. But the reason we live in relative peace today is because of those sacrifices. Our symbol is the poppy, which I'm wearing. Okay? The poppy is a symbol of peace. It's a symbol of hope. So, 1918. The war ended. People came back from the war. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot to come back to. The world had changed. So peace at what price? The joy was short-lived. So this year, we're saying thank you. Thank you not only to those people who sacrificed so much, but those people who came back and changed the world. We're saying thank you to the Commonwealth. Let's come forward too much. I've got it. No, I've got it. We're saying thank you to the Commonwealth. In case you weren't aware, the Commonwealth stood up in 1914, joined the British forces and fought for our relative peace. People from all over the world, people of all different faiths, all joined the British forces to defeat the Hun. We say thank you for social change. In case you didn't know, in 1918, women got the vote. Some people might say that's a bad thing, but I think it's a great thing. So straight away, we increased the population who had the vote, all because of the social changes brought about by the First World War. We also say thank you to the pioneers. Remember, in 1918 there was no NHS, so these people were pioneering medicine. If you've got a wristwatch on, say thank you to the people in the First World War. That's where it was invented. If you like your tea from a tea bag, that was invented in the First World War. Okay, so remember all that. We say thank you for the arts. Some fantastic art poems came from the First World War. So what we're asking is, join the thank you movement to say thank you, not only to the people who sacrificed the ultimate sacrifice, but also the people that changed our lives for the better. I'd like to thank everybody for allowing me to address tonight. I wish you all success in whatever fundraising activities you're taking part in, and I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Phil. Our next speaker is from South Staffordshire Network for Mental Health, John McKiernan. Thank you, John.
Hello, I'm actually the Vice Chair of South Staffordshire Network for Mental Health. We're a fairly small charity based in Lichfield, but we cover the whole of South Staffordshire. And our main aim is to help people who are recovering from mental illness to find new skills, ignite old skills to get them back to work. And as a charity, we provide volunteering experience for them, whether it's in an office or whether it's out talking to other people. We've just had some major cuts, as many charities have, from the councils, and one of the things at the moment that we do is we provide a newsletter. We have something like 1,000 members. You don't subscribe, you just become a member, and we also are planning podcasts, which can be from anything from people who are talking about how they've recovered from mental health, people who are talking about how they've learned new skills, and that's essentially what we do. And it's an amazing charity to be the vice chair of, and people work really hard, and that's why we're here today, just to try to get some more support for our volunteers who are on that recovery journey after having had mental health issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next, we have David Appleby, who's here to speak about Isabella Little.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all enjoying it this evening, and thank you, everybody, for including us in this wonderful evening. We appreciate it very much. Isabella Little, who is she? Well, she's a 10-year-old girl from Warsaw. That's her picture. You might not be able to see it right at the back. Some of you may know her from Midlands Today news item that she's been on. She's also had a Facebook profile, Isabella Little's Neuroblastoma Journey. Within that, she's done a video that's been published throughout of YouTube and has actually gone quite viral. They're called The C Word. Now, Isabella Little has been suffering with cancer for 7.5 years of her life. She's 10 years old. This is now the 4th time that she has it. So we're trying as a team to get enough money together to send her to America for treatment. Now, as you can imagine, that's a lot of money. That treatment isn't available here in the UK. This treatment is actually, she needs about £180,000, what we're trying to raise for her. So we're trying to up her profile, and we appreciate for all of you guys to be involved and be able to take it on with us too. So please look up her page, Isabella Little's Neuroblastoma Journey. Please follow, please read her story. Thank you very much, everybody.
Earlier on, I may have confused the audience. So last year we collected £685,000, and this year's target is £1 million. Our next speaker is James Dennison, who works for Staffordshire Wildlife Trust and is the fundraiser there. Thank you, James.
Thank you. I promise I will be quick. Thank you very much for inviting me here today. Staffordshire Wildlife Trust, we protect and enhance the wildlife of Staffordshire, the wildlife and wild places of Staffordshire. We're one of 47 charities operating across the whole of the UK with very similar remits. We manage 27 nature reserves in Staffordshire, which we estimate are visited by around 1 million people every year. And a core part of what our charity is about is trying to encourage people to reconnect with nature. Not only have we benefited from a grant from this group, the group have also been out and helped us to plant 2,000 trees up in Burton-on-Trent. So we're thankful on 2 levels. Thank you very much.
Our next guest speaker is Millie O'Connor from Millie's Foundation.
Good evening all. Everybody's hungry, so I won't keep it very long. Okay, I'm Millie O'Connor and I run a small charity called the Millis Foundation. And what that does is looking after children, underprivileged children, mostly in the Philippines, educating them for school. We have one elementary school, 2 nursery, and 1 blind school that we supported. We also look after some widows as well. So everything for school equipment we give to the school. We also support individual children into school as well. And we also have a school in Holbury, which is linked to a school in the Philippines. So the money we raise, what we get last year, it really helped for the children. We give them also, every Christmas, we give them a Christmas dinner, which is proper food, rice and chicken, and food that they don't usually have every day. So thank you very much. This is great. I did the walk 2 years running, and I'm already signed up. I'm ready to go again. God bless you. Thank you.
Our next guest speaker is Alison Pugh from Buds. We were able to support that charity last year, and she's a director. And while she hurries to the podium, I will get the next speaker ready, which is our Regional Charity Walk for Peace President, Mr. Imtiaz Ahmed. So he'll say a few words. Then we have the vote of thanks by Sophia Snell, and then finally the Chairman's address.
Good evening everyone, it's a pleasure to be here for the 2nd year. I'm the director of the charity Buds, Better Understanding of Dementia for Sandwell. We provide services for people who are diagnosed with dementia across Sandwell and carers and families. I'm sure that you will have heard in the media recently that the diagnosis rates of dementia is increasing, and unfortunately it doesn't get any better. Our charity provides services to enhance the physical and mental health of people diagnosed with dementia. One of the things I really want to thank is the association, and particularly the friendship of Wazim Shah, and obviously we wish you all the very best for the walk this year. Thank you everyone.
So next is our Regional President for Charity Walk for Peace, Mr. Imtiaz Ahmed. Thank you.
Respected Chair, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of God be upon you all. I've just been asked to improvise at the last minute, so this isn't a scheduled speech, so it will definitely be very short. Really, I've been told really just to give some experience of last year. As members, I'm delighted to see that there are quite a few charities here who we did support last year, and they also attended the walk as well. Millie, I know, was with us, Annette also, and various other Kelly, some other members. You know, we hired a coach last year, and we had about at least 20 external walkers who came with us, as well as about 100 of our own. Our target set last year was about £40,000 to collect regionally. This year it's 66,000, so I hope with your help and with the help of our team of volunteers, we will hopefully reach that target. One of the things I really enjoy about the Charity Walk for Peace, and especially with regards to the Midlands launch, is that we are given the opportunity to support a lot of the local smaller charities who don't always, we feel, get the exposure that they should. We support the national charities anyway, in a big way, but I'm very happy that we've started launching this Midlands event and regional events, and this enables us to contact and reach out to the smaller charities which we get to know and invite and then take with us on the walk. The sort of, we provide volunteers obviously throughout the year. The collections go on right up until November, until after the Poppy appeal. Collections have started already from personal donations as well as to teams of volunteers assisting at supermarkets and stalls, and also out at football matches, etc. collecting for the British Legion. There's a number of ways we help, but this is our duty. We feel as Ahmadi Muslims, this is our duty to raise funds for charities and to help the community at large. Just very briefly, some of the charities we sponsored last year was the Birmingham Xmas Shelter, Wellbeing Works, Boyhood to Manhood, the Derby Women's Centre, Unity Street, British Legion, Children's Society, Nottinghamshire Hospice, Northley House School, Millie's Foundation, Buds, Staffordshire Wildlife Trust. I think there were a few more, but again, small local charities which our Midlands members have supported. Once again, thank you very much to all of the charities who have come, and we hope that you'll keep coming year on year and you will allow us to keep supporting you. This is a great honour for us. Thank you very much.
The vote of thanks today is going to be given by Sophia Snell from the British Legion. And as I may have pointed out earlier, our target this year is to raise £500,000 or more. Sophia, please. Thank you.
Thank you. As you've just heard, I'm a representative of the Royal British Legion, and our campaign this year is around the Thank You movement, so it seems entirely appropriate that I give the vote of thanks. I'd like to start by thanking the Ahmadiyya Muslim community for all of their support. I know that as a representative of one of the charities in the room, we are incredibly grateful for the work that you do and the commitment and dedication with which you do it. So thank you from us to you for that. I'd also like to thank the organisers of the event here today. It's lovely to have so many people in the room. So thank you to everybody who's been involved in pulling this together, for those that have travelled far and wide to attend. Thank you to all of the charities as well for attending. We are incredibly grateful to meet you all and for us all to come together in such a unified way. So as the food is here, I won't detract too much longer. Thank you kindly to all of the volunteers, the community, the charities, and for everybody attending. Shukriya.
One of the most hard-working people in Charity Walk for Peace is the chairman. It's not just a title. He really spends a lot of time helping us, advising us, telling us what's right, what's wrong. May I request Mr. Zahir Ahmed, chairman for Charity Walk for Peace, to come and give the final concluding words. Thank you.
In the name of God, most gracious, ever merciful, honored dignitaries and wonderful charities guests, Assalamu alaikum and good evening. I'm really humbled to see you today to join us in this function. This is one of our pre-charity reception, and this is the 7th function which we are organizing today. The purpose of this function is to engage with small charities, to bring them on board, so that we can work together, so that we can raise money for these small charities. So I'm really thankful for your presence here today, and I hope you will join us on 29th of April in Runnymede. You have heard so many wonderful charities today, a wonderful work they are doing in their areas, on their projects. Charity Walk for Peace is a platform which every charity can use to raise money. We have very dedicated volunteers to help you anytime you want their help. As you heard, more than 3,000 volunteers last year helped the Royal British Legion to raise more than £250,000. Rafi very rightly said, Inshallah, this year we are going to raise around £1 million, and in this £1 million there will be £500,000 which we are raising for Royal British Legion, OPAP. We are working very closely with the Red Cross, British Heart Foundation and some other charities so that we can help them to raise funds. You will agree with me that small charities find very difficult to raise funds. And I assure you that Charity Walk for Peace platform is excellent platform to raise funds. I don't want to spend more time. Food is already laid on the tables. And once again, I want to thank you for your precious time you are spending with us today. Please pray for the success of this work. Please pray that we achieve our target. I want to thank our regional president, Ahmadiyya Muslim Elders Association. I want to thank our regional chairman, Khalid. And I want to thank all my central committee members, including my dear friend Rafi Bhatti. He just said that I work hard. I don't work hard, they work hard. Thank you very much. We started this function with the recitation of the Quran, and we finish this with silent prayer. We know to raise our hands and pray silently. You can join us, or you can pray as you like. Please join me in silent prayer. Amen. Enjoy the food, please.
Enjoy the food, and dinner has been served. Thank you.
Ha ha ha.